Beautiful and bold had though Thomas Forrester might hold the key to a solution on the CBS soap opera, I hope Logan makes up her mind regarding Deacon Sharp this week. Though it's unlikely, Matthew Atkinson previously expressed his desire to have a B&B unresolved storyline addressed in the end. Here's one location where it might function right now. B&B might have his character take a chance by trying to get the father and daughter back together. This week on B&B, Hope Logan, Annika Noel, quickly cut off Deacon Sharp's scene canon line of reasoning. Hope grew upset when Deacon began equating Shayla Carter, Kimberlyn Brown, with Thomas Forrester, Matthew Atkinson. The Logan daughter was incensed that her father had the audacity to characterize Thomas as a vicious monster devoid of compassion. This week on Bold and the Beautiful, she risked all for her father. Deacon reasoned that since Hope is certain that the Forrester son has undergone a transformation, she might grant her father's new partner the same opportunities. However, it doesn't seem like that will occur on Bold and Beautiful anytime soon. A shocked Deacon Sharp received a very clear message from Hope Logan that she would break up with him as long as he stayed with Sheila. And that also applied to his grandchildren. Hope states that her dad will not be allowed to see her children unless Deacon Sharp leaves the deadly woman. Hope Logan believes that Sheila's horrific actions and the prior transgressions of her lead designer are unrelated. Thomas Forrester has had a transformation. Deacon thus makes the case that Sheila has also undergone change. His daughter, however, didn't think his Bold and the Beautiful parallel was valid this week. However, Thomas might take matters into his own hands if he discovers why the love of his life is unable to give her father a chance. Hope feels that Sheila's lead designer never went that far, even though her actions have cost lives. He is closer than she realizes, though. He was aware that Hope's newborn child was alive back then. However, she thought her baby was stillborn, and then something occurred. Emma Barber, Nia Seuth, an intern at FC, discovered that Thomas was among the persons who knew the infant was still alive and well. It wasn't long until Xander Avant and Zoe Buckingham revealed the information to him. Naturally, Felony Flo Fulton was aware from the beginning, because she and Dr. Buckingham had taken and sold Hope's infant daughter. Emma quickly got in her car and drove to Hope Logan's house to inform her of her findings. However, Emma was being pursued by Thomas that day. She thus ran off the road and died while speeding and texting him, with him trailing after. Many questions remained after Bold and the Beautiful's plot concluded. The audience was never allowed to witness the actual events on screen. Some questioned at the time whether she had lost control of her vehicle due to her fast driving or if the Forrester son had bumped her off the road. Later, in an interview, Matthew Atkinson, who plays the role, and Brad Bell, the show's producer, talked about this. Although showrunner Bradley Bell made it clear that Thomas isn't responsible for her demise, he acknowledged that Thomas may have been a contributing factor to the circumstances surrounding the intern's death. There was an intimidation factor, but what happened to Emma was on her, he continued. Her texting and driving, not paying attention, and driving way too fast on a winding road was especially brought up by Brad Bell. Thomas could have done more and handled the situation better, he further acknowledged. It appears that they are implying that he is not responsible for the actual collision. However, that day's final image that the public saw of Thomas Forrester was him gazing over the scene of her collision. Furthermore, he really ought to have called 911 to see how she was doing. Therefore, that might come back to haunt the modern-day Forrester son. On Bold and the Beautiful, most characters are unaware that Emma was being followed by Thomas Forrester prior to her tragic accident. However, Thomas Forrester could come clean after learning that the Logan daughter insisted that Sheila was never as deadly as he was. He looks like he's changed a lot. Thus, perhaps he shares his Emma narrative with Hope Logan. He may not have killed her by crashing into her, but at that moment he was driving too near. Furthermore, he was not visible on video when he descended to the crash scene to assess her condition. Thomas may thus offer this as an example of how much he has changed since then. The new Thomas, starting with not telling Hope the truth about the baby, would never have done any of it, as most people would agree.